There is a truth that took me many years before I dared to look straight at it. Many people are not poor because they earn too little money. They are poor because they work hard their entire lives but have never truly known where their money has gone. Every month, they receive their salary. Every month, they feel like they have tried very hard to save. And yet, at the end of the month, when they look back at their account, the money has still disappeared in a way that feels impossible to understand. They did not buy a luxury car. They did not travel far. They did not live extravagantly. And still, they cannot accumulate much. I used to think the problem was income. Only later did I realize that there are people who earn 15 million but still save consistently. And there are also people who earn 50 million a month but still live in a constant feeling of lack. The difference is not in the amount of money they earn. The difference lies in whether they understand how their cash flow is operating or not. I remember a few years ago, there was a period when my work was going quite well. My income increased significantly. At that time, I naively thought that as long as I earned more money, all financial problems would automatically be solved. But then one day, when I sat down and added up my expenses, I was startled. More money was coming in, yes, but more money was also going out. Eating a little more comfortably, shopping a little more freely. Small expenses that seemed insignificant were quietly eating away at my account every day. The important thing was that I did not realize it at all. I kept thinking that I was controlling my money until I looked at the real numbers. That was when I understood something very simple, but also very painful. What makes many people feel insecure is not that they lack money, but that they do not know exactly where they are standing. A person walking in the dark is often more afraid than a person walking on a rough road, but with light. Money is the same. When we cannot clearly see our own cash flow, our mind is always restless. There is always a feeling that we have to earn more, have to work more, have to try harder. But sometimes what we need is not to earn more. It is to see more clearly. I have a friend who once complained that money was never enough. That friend was very hardworking, worked all day. On weekends, even took on extra work outside. Just hearing that, anyone would think their income was probably not bad. But when we sat down and reviewed the spending over the past few months, we discovered something very interesting. That friend was calculating almost the entire financial picture incorrectly. Credit card payments were counted as expenses. Money used to buy an investment asset was also counted as an expense. Money that the company owed and later reimbursed was counted as income. Everything was mixed together. So every month, when looking at the report, it felt like a lot of money had flown away. The feeling of being poor appeared. The feeling of anxiety appeared. While in reality, it was not entirely like that. I realized that many of us are also living this way. We look at cash flow through emotion instead of through truth. When the money in the account decreases a little, we worry. When the money in the account increases a little, we feel happy. But very few people take the time to sit down and understand what is really happening behind those numbers. There was a time when I read a very good sentence. Money does not cause stress. Ambiguity does. When I thought about it carefully, it was really true. A person who clearly knows how much they earn each month, how much they spend, and how much they save, usually lives much more calmly. Not because they are rich, but because they are clear. Clarity brings a sense of safety. Just like when we travel a long distance, what makes us feel at ease is not that the road is perfect. It is that we know where we are and how much farther we still have to go. What I like most about managing money is not the fact that I can save a few million more. It is the feeling of taking back control over my own life. When I know where my money is going, I begin to see habits that I had never noticed before. There are expenses that seem small but continue for many years. There are items bought because of emotion, then left sitting silently in a corner of the house. There are times when I spend money just to soothe a tiring day. At that point, money is no longer just numbers. It reflects the way I am living. It reflects the worries, the desires, the empty spaces inside that sometimes even I myself do not recognize. And this is what I want to share the most. Tracking finances is not to blame yourself. It is not to examine every cup of coffee or every meal, nor is it to turn life into a dry spreadsheet. The final purpose is simply to understand yourself a little more, to understand what is happening in your life, to understand what is truly important, to understand where you are heading. I once made a very big mistake. I tracked very diligently, but I never looked back. Every day I entered the numbers. Every month I added and subtracted. But I never sat down to ask myself, what am I using money for? What truly makes me happy? What is only spending out of habit? Only much later did I understand. Numbers have no meaning if they do not help us live more consciously. Money, after all, is only a tool. It does not decide the value of a person, but the way we use money reflects a great deal about the way we are treating our own life. If today you are feeling that money is always lacking, that your account always feels fragile, or simply that you always feel uneasy whenever you think about finances, perhaps do not rush to find a way to earn more right away. Try sitting down on a very quiet evening. Open the transaction history from the past few months. Look very slowly. Look very carefully. Do not judge. Do not blame. Just look. Who knows? What you find may not only be numbers. It may be a version of yourself that you have not truly listened to for a very long time. And sometimes, the journey of building wealth does not begin with earning more money. It begins from the moment a person becomes brave enough to look straight at the truth of their own cash flow. If this message touched something in you, I hope you can be gentle with yourself today. Money is never just about money. Sometimes it is about fear. Sometimes it is about safety. Sometimes it is about the parts of ourselves we have not had the courage to look at closely. So thank you for being here with me. Thank you for listening until the end. And I hope that wherever you are in your own journey, you give yourself permission to begin again. Not with shame, but with clarity, patience, and a little more kindness toward yourself. This is Healing Mind with Minn. I'll see you in the next video.